Hello everyone. Welcome to our first distance education lesson in my office. So I know this is a little strange for everyone. I just want you to know that all of us are learning how to do this together. And if you have any suggestions for me as we go along, I will always be trying to improve this because I know this is different than how we normally would have class if we were all together. So be patient and hopefully it will get better and better the more we do. I want you to know while we are doing this lesson and probably others, I will be asking you to pause the video and take a moment to write down something. Maybe write down a guess, maybe write down some thoughts, write down your answers. So I hope you will treat this video the same way that you would if you were in the classroom with me. But instead of me waiting for you to write it down, I'll ask you just to hit the pause button. And in the WhatsApp group, I will send you instructions about pause and how all that will work. So, okay, are we ready? Let's get started. You'll see on the board, running with ropes. How many of you know what are ropes? What is a rope? Take a minute and write down your guess. If you need to pause, this is one of those times where you would hit the pause button while you write down your guess, okay? All right, did you write it down? So ropes are like material that are long and usually strong, maybe cloth, maybe scratchy, I don't know the word, scratchy fabric maybe, but the point is it's a strong, long material item used for many different things. So we will explain more. You'll understand more as we get into our story. So go ahead and open your book to page 64. We are in Unit 5, Lesson D. You will see there what is supposed to be a newspaper article, and what is the title? Yep, I think I heard you say running with ropes. That is the title of the newspaper article, okay? So take a moment looking at the picture and looking at the title, Running with Ropes. What do you think this article will be about? Okay? Take just a minute. Maybe write down your thoughts. Pause if you need to. And then I will read the article to you. If you would rather listen to the recording from the book, you know you can always scan the QR code, just like we've done in class before, if you're tired of hearing my voice. Or if you want to listen to it again later, there's always that recording in your book, okay? So I'm going to read the article to you, and while I'm reading, as we always do, if you see a word that you don't understand, underline the word and we will come back to it, okay? All right, let's read. So, running with ropes. And please read along with me, okay? Running with ropes. Imagine running with your eyes closed. How do you feel? Insecure? Afraid? Justin Andrews knows these feelings very well. Justin is a former long-distance runner who lost his vision because of a grave illness. For the past 6 months, he has been running twice a week with the help of volunteer runners at Running with Ropes, an organization that assists blind and visually impaired runners. Running with Ropes has changed my life, Justin says. Until I heard about it, I thought I'd never run outside again. Volunteers at Running with Ropes make a commitment to volunteer 2 to 4 hours a week. Scott Laponi, one of the running volunteers, explains what they do. We use ropes to join ourselves to the blind runners and guide them around and over obstacles, such as holes in the road or other runners. Scott has learned how to keep the rope loose so the blind runner has more freedom. He deeply respects the blind runner's tenacity. They are incredibly determined, he says. It doesn't matter if it's hot, raining, or snowing, they are going to run. Scott says it is gratifying to share in the joy of the runners and to feel that they trust him. The 4 hours I spend at Running with Ropes are the most rewarding part of my week, he says. It's really a worthwhile commitment. Okay. So, what did you think? Pretty interesting, right? Okay, this would be a good time to go ahead and pause the video, and for those words that you didn't know, words that you were unfamiliar with, go ahead and look them up. Look up the definition. Maybe go to Google, or if you have an English dictionary at your home, you could look up the definition there. But take a moment and look up the definition and write on a piece of paper the definition for each of the words that you underlined, okay? Maybe not before, but I have a few words that I think are worth pointing out because probably they are unfamiliar to most of you. The first one is grave illness. If you'll look, let's see, in the first paragraph, it's maybe the 4th or 5th sentence, you see, Justin is a former long-distance runner who lost his vision because of a grave illness. So grave illness, as you might have guessed, simply means very serious illness, a very, maybe it has a negative connotation. Grave illness is a very bad illness. So Justin had a grave illness that was so bad he lost his vision, okay? So that's grave illness. How about visually impaired? Do you know what that means? You can probably guess from the context. It says, Running with Ropes, this is the first paragraph. Running with Ropes is an organization that assists blind and visually impaired runners. So you know blind. Blind means you cannot see. So visually impaired means Maybe someone is not completely blind, but they cannot see completely. Means their vision is affected, impaired, blocked in some way. Some people can be legally blind, but still see a little bit. So that's visually impaired. How about tenacity? Tenacity is a really good word to know. Let's see, the sentence that says tenacity is in the second paragraph, but it's right under, the word tenacity is right under the picture, okay? So the sentence says, he deeply respects the blind runner's tenacity. They are incredibly determined, he says. So, based on the surrounding sentences and based on the context, what do you think tenacity means? Take a minute, think about it. What's that? I heard somebody say tenacity is another word for determined. Determined means very like focused, very driven. For example, in the article it says, it doesn't matter if it's hot, raining, snowing, they are going to run. They will do it. So they have great tenacity. Okay. And finally, gratifying. You see gratifying in the very next sentence. It says, Scott says it is gratifying to share in the joy of the runners and to feel that they trust him. So can you guess what gratifying means based on that? Gratifying just means rewarding or kind of satisfying, kind of like satisfying. So that's gratifying. Okay, very good. So now let's move on to the next page, page 65. So I will read these questions out loud, and I want you to read them out loud with me. I know your family might think it's strange that you're talking to yourself, but my family thinks it's strange that I'm talking to myself right now. So this is just where we're at. So go ahead and read the questions out loud with me, and then pause the video and try to answer them to the best of your ability, okay? So we're on 3A. You see numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so number 1. According to the author, why is Running with Ropes a worthwhile organization? Okay. Number 2. Who is Justin Andrews and what happened to him? Number 3. How is Justin able to run? Number 4. Compare what Justin says in paragraph 1 and what Scott says in the last paragraph about running with ropes. How are the statements similar? You know, similar means the same. Number 5. Based on Justin and Scott's statements about their experiences, do you think they will continue to participate in the program? Why or why not? Okay, pause the video here and go ahead and write down your answers. All right, are you done? Okay, some of these answers, they're not all going to be exactly the same. So we will just briefly cover what the answers should kind of be. Okay, number 1, according to the author, why is Running with Ropes a worthwhile organization? Okay. So worthwhile means why is it worth it? Why does this organization have any value? And so what it says in the article is that it is very gratifying to share in the joy of the runners. He says it's the most rewarding part of his week. And so to him, it is worth it to make that commitment to do that because it's a very rewarding program and it's gratifying to help other people. Okay? So, does that make sense? Oh, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions about this, you can always send me a message on WhatsApp if something I'm saying doesn't make sense. So, if you wrote anything like what I just said, then that's great. All right, number 2, who is Justin Andrews and what happened to him? So, the article says Justin is a former long-distance runner who lost his vision because of a grave illness. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Number 3, how is Justin able to run? So you see in the article, it says he has been running twice a week with the help of volunteer runners at Running with Ropes, an organization that assists blind and visually impaired runners. So he's been able to run because there are volunteer runners who use ropes to join themselves, you see in the second paragraph, to join themselves together with the blind runners to guide them as they run, which is really kind of cool. Okay, number 4, compare what Justin says in paragraph 1 and what Scott says in the last paragraph about running with ropes. How are the statements similar? Okay, so first, what does Justin say in paragraph 1? He says, running with ropes has changed my life. Until I heard about it, I thought I'd never run outside again. Okay, and then what does Scott say about running with ropes? He says he deeply respects the blind runner's tenacity. They are incredibly determined. He says it is gratifying to share in their joy and that it's the most rewarding part of his week. So how are those two statements similar? It sounds like both of them really appreciate the very rewarding work of the volunteers in the organization. They appreciate Justin appreciates being able to run, and Scott appreciates being able to help Justin run. So for both of them, it is similar because for both of them, it is the best part of their week. It means a great deal to them. So that's that one. And then number 5, based on Justin and Scott's statements about their experiences, do you think they will continue to participate in the program? Why or why not? So there's no right answer to this. However, I think based on the article, I think it is more likely that they will continue to participate in the program because they both seem to really enjoy it. They both really appreciate what it brings. So, all right, great job. Now, let's build some vocabulary, and then we will be done with this first lesson. So, here's another one for us to read out loud together, okay? You see the red tip box in the top right corner? It says, read it out loud with me. to practice your reading and speaking. So here we go. When you see a new word, look at the words around it to guess if the meaning is positive or negative. He lost his vision because of a grave illness. You can guess that grave has a negative meaning because loss of vision and illness are both negative events. Okay, does that make sense? Loss of vision is a negative event, and illness is a negative event. So grave probably is a negative word. Okay? So you'll see, look back at 3B, where it says build your vocabulary. And you'll see the words on the chart here. I'll just show this to you. These words under where it says word. Find these, each of these in the reading and underline them, okay? And then decide if the meaning is positive or negative, okay? And when you decide that, write down the clues. Write down the clues that helped you decide, okay? So this would be a good one to pause the video and complete this assignment. This is where I have to trust that you will do this because I'm about to read you the answers, okay? In fact, I actually just realized that I already showed you the answers. So see, we're learning. If I show you the teacher's book, you will see the answers. So, okay, next time I won't do that. But for now, I will just tell you which word is positive and which word is negative. And then I will give you your homework assignment and then we'll be done. Okay? So, obviously, grave is negative. Insecure is negative. Insecure means afraid. Impaired is negative. Freedom is positive. Tenacity is a positive word. Gratifying, positive. And rewarding, positive. Okay? So now, great job on all of this. Your homework is to pick one question from 3C. So you see at the bottom it says talk with a partner at the bottom of your page. So pick one of those 4 questions and I want you to make a video of yourself responding to that question and send it to the group in the WhatsApp. That way we can, it's kind of like we're having conversation even if we're not actually in person to talk together, okay? All right, thank you so much. And as always, if you have any questions, please just send me a message. I'm available anytime. Thank you.